This week on the Erotic Awakening Podcast, episode 742, Naughty Revival, Lean into the Yes, and Kink Education. Welcome to Erotic Awakening, an exploration of all things erotic. If you are offended by adult topics or prohibited by law, it's recommended that you stop listening right now. First, I'd like to thank the amazing patrons of Erotic Awakening. You have kept and continue to keep this show and educational work alive and thriving. So welcome to our newest supporter, Summer. Welcome, welcome, and thank you. If you'd like to be a part of the team that supports this continuing work of community education, head over to patreon.com/erotic awakening and sign up today. Hi, everyone. I'm Dawn, and I'm here this week to continue the conversations on power exchange, polyamory, sacred sexuality, and everything in between. Tonight, I want to process naughty revival a little bit and leaning into the yes. I actually heard that a few times. It has been my motto for the last while, especially as I try new experiences. And I heard a couple of other people, especially during the presenter dinner Thursday night, a couple of presenters that were all about leaning into the yes. So, naughty revival, Minneapolis, the beginning of December, cold as hell. It was cold. And I knew it was going to be cold because I presented there last year and it was cold. So I already knew that. And I'm going to tell you, the only reason I am outside of Chicago for this long is because I was going to be presenting at Naughty Revival. Now, after this, I plan on going where it's warm, and hopefully warm within the month. I absolutely enjoyed the event last year. I absolutely enjoyed the event this year. I don't know how they do it. I have co-produced two different events for more than 6 years each. So I know what they're doing to make this event happen, except my events were only like 300 people. The event this weekend, I was given numbers between 900 and 1,100 people. Hotel takeover, so many moving parts that as an event producer, you don't really have control over because of the hotel, right? And it's cold and it's been snowing and just all these things. But as a presenter, and of course, my experience is different than an attendee's, even though I am an attendee, sort of, but I'm also a presenter, which is a different way of viewing the event. As a presenter, fantastic time. I love how Naughty Revival treats me. I love what they do for their presenters. I love being able to see some of the behind the scenes, but that also means that you get to see all the stuff going on. Like I said, lots of moving parts. They tried a different dungeon space this time based on feedback from the dungeon space from last time. They made some changes this year, again, based on suggestions from last year. And they're still trying to figure it out in this hotel, but I think they did a great job. I have gone to events where there are no signs. This place had signs. I have been to events where there's no map. This place had a map. And yeah, so for me, I got there Thursday night. And they have a little gathering for the presenters on Thursday night. And that was fun because the presenters don't usually get to see the classes that they want to see because they're presenting, like with most events. So it's really neat to be able to come in Thursday night and meet the other presenters and talk about their classes. And that's pretty much what we did. We all were like, oh, hey, great to see you again. Or, hey, I've heard your name, haven't met you before. And this class that you're teaching, I really want to go to it, but my class is opposite that or whatever. And we would talk about the topic. So I got to talk to one of the presenters about quills. I got to talk to another presenter about rope tying, which I'm not into, but she may have convinced me to give it a try. Things like that. So Thursday night, great time. Loved getting in early. Friday, I had a podcast listener and Zoom attendee from that area come in early and give me a massage. And that was so needed. It was great and it helped me get my mind set for the weekend and teaching 4 classes and all that stuff. So, massage on Friday, fabulous. And then I did a Reiki attunement. I had a Reiki 1 class 2 weeks ago, and I told any of the students that if they wanted their attunement in person and they were going to be where I was going to be, to let me know, and that's how I would do it instead of distance. And she was in Minneapolis, so I had her stop by my room and we did a Reiki attunement, which is just an energy thing. And then I had a 5 o'clock class. So massage, Reiki attunement, food, and then the class. And that class, I nailed it. That one was so much fun. 100 people in my classroom. 100 people. It was great. It was phenomenal. And then Friday night, I decided that's when I was going to have my scenes. So I ended up having 2 scenes with 2 new people. And we'd been talking about it for a while, and I've known them for a while, but I'd never played with them before. So that was amazing, except it was an impact scene for the first scene. So that's endorphins and adrenaline. And then I went right into the second scene, which was sutures. And that was all endorphins. I don't think I lasted that long for the sutures. She said we were going for over an hour. But at that point, I needed to be done and sit in the floor. The endorphins had totally flooded my brain and my body, and I had to sit in the floor. But that was pretty awesome. And then Saturday, breakfast, sat with people, enjoyed the conversation. 3 classes. I tried to sit in on the quill class because anybody that knows me knows that I want to learn quills. But I couldn't. I had to go take a nap. So I went and took a nap, and then I taught 2 more classes. By the end of the 4th class, by the end of the 3rd class on Saturday, 4th class overall, I was thin emotionally. And then one of the classes was living a mess. And that's where people get to ask me questions. There's no like real structure to the class. They bring in questions and put them on slips of paper, and I create the class that way. There were some hard questions in there. And being near the last class that I had to teach, I was a little bit emotionally thin, but I was just real honest with people. I'm like, oh, that's a tough one with where I'm at in my life right now. Give me just a second. I'm going to doodle on the blackboard as I talk about something else, let my brain percolate, and then I'll have an answer for you once I've compartmentalized. And I was just that honest with people that things were still fresh and raw. And I was going to have to, if I was going to keep my shit together, I was going to have to compartmentalize. And that if they could just hold on for a second, I got tons of years of experience doing this. And if I can separate myself, I will have an answer for them in just a second. And everybody was so gracious. They were so understanding. And they let me just ramble about a different question or a different topic while my brain got together and could answer the hard one. And I just say it was hard. It's not that I didn't have an answer for the hard ones. It's just that they were emotionally hard. And I needed to be able to have some fun while I was doing the classes. I needed to be able to tell my stories, have fun, get some laughter as well, because that feeds me and that helps keep me going. And I was teaching these classes on my own in the style that we've taught classes for many years. So entertainment, energy, right? Having people involved. And I was told by many that I did a damn good job. So, yay, I had a blast. I really did. And then Saturday night, I really wanted to do some priestess topping Saturday night. I had already spoken to the person weeks ago, but I really didn't follow through with it because I kept thinking Saturday night, I'm going to be a basket case. I will have ridden the roller coaster and be totally, oh, gosh, I don't even know what word to use, but yeah, not able to function. I would be totally rattled around like riding a wooden roller coaster. And that ended up happening. So I'm glad I didn't actually like schedule it and then have to back out. So that was okay. But I went and watched some scenes and chatted with people. I went to the VIP dinner because at that event, and we used to do the same thing at our events, the presenters have to go to the VIP dinner. I mean, they get fed, right? But it's because the VIPs get to interact with the presenters. And that's always fun. Like I said, we did that at our events too. We had VIPs and the presenters had to show up for the VIP dinner. It was just part of the contract, part of the requirements. So they knew up front that that was part of it, just like I did. And then Sunday morning, it was done. I wanted to stay for the panel, but they had what was it, an edge play panel Sunday morning. I would have loved to have stayed for that, but we also needed to get on the road. And snow was coming. Snow was coming between Minneapolis and Chicago, and we wanted to miss it. So we had to get on the road, which is great. And we did. And I was able to sleep part of the drive back. I wasn't driving. It's okay. So I enjoyed Naughty Revival. I know what it's like to have that many moving parts and so many volunteers. They had so many volunteers and so much help. And I love the environment of that event. So I will be back at some point. Now, leaning into the yes, I put that with this topic because that's what I did. I leaned into the yes. So I leaned into the yes during this whole event. I've never had a massage in my room, and I did that. I knew the person, and I have done a Reiki attunement at a kink event before, just last year, and I got to do that again. So I leaned into the yes of that. I almost didn't offer it because I knew how much energy I was going to be expending for the weekend, but nope, lean into the yes. The workshops, lean into the yes and doing them well, even though it was a first experience for me. And the scenes, sutures. Okay, I like needles, but I'd never done sutures before, and I was terrified. And she wanted to suture my arms under my boobs. And suturing my arms, I don't know why, but I literally told her that terrifies me. And if you're going to have my arms under my boobs, why not sew my boobs together? And she's like, that's going to hurt. I'm like, the arms are going to hurt. She's like, no, the boobs are going to hurt more. And I'm like, yeah, but that's sexy. I didn't find the arms sexy, but the way she did my arms under the boobs worked out really well. And I am so glad I did that. And one of the things I was trying to teach during my slutty sex for real relationships classes is if not now, when? If I didn't do sutures during the event, when was I going to have a chance to do them again? I don't know. So just like my story about the objectification room at Dark Odyssey, if I had not done that back in 2004 because I was scared, I wouldn't have had the chance to do it at all because we never went back. Things got busy and we started concentrating on different events to teach at, and we never got back to Dark Odysseys. I think it was summer camp, maybe. Yeah, it was summer camp. So I'm glad I did it. And yeah, if not now, when? I got to play with someone that I've been wanting to play with for a while. Well, I say a while, ever since I met them. I have someone else that I am going to be visiting on Sunday when I leave Chicago and start heading for the East Coast. And it is all about leaning into the yes. I want to experience these things. So walk through the fucking fear and do the thing. Lean into the yes. My biggest advice for next year as well. Lean into the yes. I think I need to put that in my tattoo. So I have a power tattoo on my left arm. I'm writing this down. Lean into the yes. And my power tattoo actually has a frame that I can write power words into, and those change weekly depending on whatever. And lean into the yes. I have enough room in that box to write that little phrase. And it just reminds me to have fun and try new things. And I just, this point in my life, that is exactly what I'm doing, because this that I'm doing now, I've never done before. So everything is new. Everything is new. So lean into it. Holy cow, don't resist it. So lean into it. All right. So if you'd like to share a cup of coffee or conversation with me, I'll be in a few places that I have scheduled over 2026. I am reaching out to other producers, trying to get more events scheduled. We will see what happens. But coming up, I have Kick, K-I-C, Kink in Columbus on December 19th. So that is just next week. And then Intrigue in Indianapolis in February, I will be presenting and vending. So Kick is presenting, Intrigue is presenting and vending. I got a couple of things at the end of the year, but they have not created events for those yet. As soon as they have links for them, I will add them to the list. So keep up with all the places I'm presenting or vending, my online classes and intensives and retreats, book news, discounts, and more via the Erotic Awakening newsletter. And you can get your EA shout out like Rill from Michigan. I hope I pronounced that right. Head over to eroticawakening.com and subscribe today. So the other thing we talked about during that presenter little gathering on Thursday night at Naughty Revival was that one of the presenters mentioned that someone had come after her to let her know that her online education was wrong. And basically wrong in that she shouldn't be doing online education, that no one should be doing online education, that all of it should be in person or not at all. And I looked at them and I said, no one's come to me and said that. And I teach like between 4 and 8 classes a month on Zoom, online education. I didn't do it before the pandemic, but I absolutely started it during the pandemic and will continue to offer it, because what we heard on the podcast a couple of times over the years is that people are not always able to make it to big events. For one, after RVing around the country, do you know how many little tiny towns there are, like out in the West, that are like hours from the closest city? They are hours from civilization. They would have to travel hours for a munch, for an event, for a social, for a slosh, or anything like that. They just don't even have accessibility to in-person stuff. And then if they did, they have to figure out how to pay for it. I just saw an event advertise their tickets. Their early bird tickets are at $200 a piece. And most people don't like to go alone. So prices are going up. We're probably going to see that sort of ticket price happen a lot as prices go up. Most producers try to keep things accessible, but it is hard to do and not lose money. So, as a producer, as a former producer, let me say that. But at $200 a pop, plus food, plus hotel, plus travel, plus, I mean, not all of us have that kind of money. Most events take place on weekends and nights. Okay, well, that makes it not even possible for people that work second and third shift without taking holiday time. Even Dan and I used to have to take paid time off to teach on the weekends because we would have to take a Friday off and a Monday off to do the travel. So for one, it's expensive for many people. For two, I mean, cost prohibitive for many people. For, the travel, the schedule, the all of that type of stuff. Why shouldn't we be teaching online? There's universities teach online. I take courses through Udemy. I have a hypnosis academy that I take online stuff through. Now, I also met them in person and got certified in person, but I do a lot of the training online. It's just, it's accessible, it's cheaper. Yeah, I don't understand that person's attitude towards online education. Now, the other cool thing is how cheap I can keep my classes. Yeah, I've got bills to pay. I need some money coming in. I've got bills to pay, especially as I'm on the road. But I don't have to charge an extreme amount. I want to get the education out to as many people as possible, so I'm going to continue to keep my classes low. Or how about just being able to attend a class that you don't even know where it's going to be presented in person? If I want to there's a blowjob online class, actually. There's a few of them. I get to pick and choose. I'll probably go for the one that costs the least and matches my schedule. And I can go do that. I can go to Forbidden Tickets. I can go to Fetlife under virtual events, and I can type in blowjob. And literally, I found 6 classes in the next 3 months. So again, I can pick which class I'm going to based on my schedule, based on my finances, based on who's teaching it. So many options. And personally, I like online classes. I am sitting here and I am got my feet wrapped up in an electric blanket. I don't have to go outside in the ice and snow. I don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to do anything. And as soon as I'm done with this class, I'm going to go crawl under the electric blanket in my bed. And again, I don't have to go anywhere. Feeds my introverted self. For my social time, I went to a munch last night instead of a class. So, yeah, I love online education. I will still get to in-person stuff as I can. I enjoy the benefits of both. So it depends how we learn. It depends what we need. It depends what's available. It depends on so many things as to whether online or in person is better for a person. And no one should be judging. I don't like absolutes, but I'm still going to use an absolute. No one should be judging us for how we are getting our education, as long as we're getting educated. So that's where I stand. It's only a little soapbox. No, actually, it's a big soapbox, but I tried to keep it little for the show. Oh man, tentacles and werewolves. I saw some tentacles over the weekend I wanted. Holy cow. So places I can be found on social media, or if you want to get up with me, or if you have an opinion about any of these topics, I am Dawn_Awakening on Fetlife or Erotic_Awakening, 2 different accounts. Erotic Awakening on Instagram, EA Podcast Dawn on TikTok, or just email me at dawn@eroticawakening.com. Be a part of the Erotic Awakening podcast community. You can become a patron of the show and get early access to the podcast, a free copy of the audiobook Polyamory Toolkit, free ebooks, discounts on monthly Zoom classes, member-only Discord access, and more. Find all the goodies at patreon.com/eroticawakening today. And help others find the show. Give us high ratings wherever you listen to the podcast, and more importantly, tell your friends. Join the conversation with other listeners. Use the links from the Erotic Awakening website for our interactive Discord channel, open to everyone. Until next time, may your journey be filled with passion, joy, and a bit of naughtiness. Bye, everyone.